Hello everyone, it's January 1st, 2025. It's a big day for working astrologers. I've been playing a lot of music because we've been on holiday break, and so I'm not allowed to do anything without looking like I'm like asynchronous or out of time. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing this Insect Club shirt on my predictions. Well, maybe you'll notice that it has my chart embroidered on it. See, here's my chart all over this thing. So, my metal people keep me alive and excited throughout the year, so I had to wear my metal shirt. I'm a Scorpio. I mean, come on, let's be real. Some people think I'm a Libra. I'm a Libra Scorpio cusp, so here's all the black and white stripes. Okay, so we actually have 5 minutes per month. Maybe you hope that I go deeper dive than I can in 5 minutes, but if you want to get a deeper dive for the month, you can always come to the micro transit events, which we run at the end of every month, where we look at the transits for the next month and we apply it to your charts. That event is actually quite busy and we love it. So come to the micro transits if you want more in-depth information. All right, so let's start with January 2025. What is happening? Okay, so the first thing to notice is this month, just at the beginning of the month, Mars in Leo is retrograde, and it's opposite that Pluto in Aquarius. As you see, the Pluto in Aquarius is green. It's like Aquarius is all the thought structures. It's an air sign, so it's like we're all thinking in groups. There's a lot of groups meeting on Zoom, groups meeting everywhere. Zoom has basically, is part of the Pluto and Aquarius generation of like now we can meet in groups whenever we want, wherever we want, to think about whatever we want. Now AI is also a Pluto and Aquarius thing. People are obsessed with that part of Pluto and Aquarius. I don't personally utilize AI that much, but the people who do have Pluto and Aquarius hitting their chart nicely are using it for very good uses. The Pluto and Leo opposed that is let's get our wardrobe together to interface with the groups that we go out into. So whatever groups you're involved with, get your wardrobe on, get some wigs, get some costumes, like all that stuff is Mars and Leo. Leo is all about self-expression. So, a lot of times we get lost in the group. That's a problem with Aquarius energy, is that we are all being honored, so no one is being honored. Well, now with this opposition, it's time to say, like, who am I? What do I look like? How can I have my best look? Get your look on. We have another week or two with Mars opposed Pluto right now, so it's really intense time for that. Let's look at this. Jupiter is in Gemini. It's going backwards. But this is where Jupiter is this year, for half of this year. And Jupiter is an expansive energy. Gemini is the throat chakra. There's a lot of talking going on at the Moira Press. We have a bunch of reading groups and talking groups. And you probably think, I thought you were a musician. Why are you talking so much? Well, remember, we're actually astrologers first here, and we honor whatever the planetary clock wants us to do. With Jupiter and Gemini, we want you to talk. You want to talk. Your throat chakra is spinning. It's time to talk. All the musicians are coming out to talk. All the astrologers are coming out to talk. It's important to talk. The sharing of ideas is how things happen. Now, over here in Pisces, as we see, it's a very pink energy. Venus hits Saturn in Pisces this month. Saturn's still in Pisces. It's starting to move forward. It's between 14 and 17 this month. So we're getting, structures down for divinity or larger vibe creation. We're working on smells, tones, tastes, flavors. Prayer is a big one. At the Moira Press, we're working on the Course in Miracles. We're studying Pisces things. We're saying, how can we create the greatest vibe for all of us concerned at the same time? Remember, Pisces is a global water, so we're dealing with the emotions of everyone all at once. Some people who are against prayer or against God, I'm like, well, you're really not being all that efficient, because if we say, God, grant us X, Y, Z, like all of a sudden all people are appealed to at the same time. And that is why it's so efficient to get the emotions going for all people at once. So point is, with Saturn and Pisces, keep studying your prayer, keep studying your vibe, tone, keeping the mood correct, cleansing and clearing. If you're not into God, universe, study universe. Universe, what is your will for X, Y, Z? And you can use incense, flavors, aromatherapy, tones, moods, toning, mantras, anything you can do to keep the vibe good with you and yours. That be your kids, your family, your lover, your partner, your band, your class, whatever it is, keep that vibe good. That's Saturn and Pisces. Now, Venus is coming up to that. Now, in this month, we're going to get a very beautiful moment for creation of these things. You know, where we might be struggling to find the right tone or vibe, Venus will come in and say, like, check out this tone, check out this incense. So get your incense ready, get your tones ready, get all of it ready for that Venus-Saturn conjunction. Okay, that's January of 25. Now we'll be bringing up these diagrams again in microtransits, so I'm going to save these. I'm going to tenderly put them down in my messy studio so they do not get injured. I'll put them up here so they don't get hurt. Okay, what's going on in February? Okay, February 25. Notice the chart looks a little different. What? Mars has moved backwards out of Leo. We don't have that orange solar plexus energy of like, what do I look like? What am I wearing? We've moved back. Mars in Cancer, it's moved down into the waters of the chest, and we get that kind of front rolling muscle, pinch and sew. We got the pinch and sew. I got my cross stitch ready of me and my producer, of course, because, you know, I'm going to pinch and stitch that thing together and as much as I can, because, you know, like, he gets away from me on all his trips, but pinch and stitch, grab hold of them. Cancer, make those crafts, make the things that you love. The reason that, you know, Cancer is the water around the chest, and Mars makes it kind of aggressive, like, you're mine, this is mine. You know, when you make crafts for people, it's a way to say, like, you're mine and I love you, and that's that Mars and Cancer energy. So if any of you have Cancer planets, if anyone's being crafty, you know, as a life path and purpose, get ready, because as Mars backs up into Cancer, and this is happening in February, we're going to get way craftier. We're not done with wardrobes. Mars will go back into Leo later in the year, but we're back into crafting. Maybe you're working on your wardrobe and you're crusty punk sewing that thing. You know I stitched this with my Mars and Cancer, like, so it's like get that stitching on, get your craft on, sew up and tailor those wardrobes. Also work on your house and home. I know Jay-Z's over there building decks and things at his home. So it's like, it can be house projects, things like that. So notice the difference here. We're going out of that Mars and Leo, back into that Mars and Cancer. Now, interestingly enough, Mars will make a triangle to Saturn in Pisces during this month. Okay, Mars and Saturn in a triangle means you're working on something very litigiously and in a structured fashion. So let's say you're going to write an album with someone. It might be time to start stitching that stuff together, be making the structures of those things, and, writing out the sheet music, getting notebooks together. Mars and Saturn is structuring the work. If you're working on a wardrobe project, make a big structured garment, something, this gives us a very, Mars and Saturn together is one of the most industrious energies together, and it's a triangle. So we're going to have a very industrious February, especially in the water signs. That means colorful things, arty things, home things. It's not, you're not running a marathon, you're making a garment, right? In February, we're going to be making some kind of crafty things that help for the tone and vibe of what we're trying to do. You'll also notice that Venus goes into Aries. It actually goes in, I have station written down. What's a station? It's when a planet walks up and it stops somewhere. Okay, so Venus is going to station in Aries in February. This is going to give us a little oomph. Aries is a fire sign. So, Venus and Aries might enjoy going out on a hike or going out into the woods or doing some rock climbing. So maybe you want to work on your physique or do some physical stuff in February. If you have Aries planets, you might be very physical in February. You might enjoy it, do some social thing in an Aries fashion. It's not just hiking, but hiking with friends, hiking with a lover, hiking in a kind of social fashion, going to a meetup group for hiking, things like that. Venus is going to stop at 10. If you have a planet near 10 of Aries, this is a nice mania for you. When a planet stops, we get fed energy to that part of our chart for a long duration of time. So watch that Venus and Aries go retrograde. Now, of course, some people have a negativistic view of things going retrograde. Remember, we don't want to let any planet be negative on us. It's not like we're Pollyannas, but we're mind controllers, and we're going to control our mind to say, I'm going to use that Venus station. I'm not afraid of the Venus retrograde. It's not going to ruin my love relationship. No, I'm going to do something arty with it. I'm going to enhance my love relationship. I'm going to use that station for the good. Okay. Notice Uranus in Taurus is talking to Saturn in Pisces. It's a sextile. It's a 60-degree angle. Uranus in Taurus is exciting us in the ear, nose, and throat. It's sending electrical energies through ear, nose, and throat. makes you interested in textiles and what are you wearing, what smells, what makeup, what spices are you using, so it's like here we get this marriage of ear, nose, throat with vibe creation. So maybe we get really into incense in February, spices, burning aromatherapy. Maybe you get into smells. There's also some excitement through formulaicness with Taurus. So it's like you might get into your favorite mug. I'll be having my Kepler College mug in the studio there, and I'll be repping my Kepler College mug. But, mugs, pens, anything that's kind of like enjoying the mundaneness of life. Jupiter's still in Gemini. That's our 5 minutes on February. Take a good look. All right. See how organized we are? Okay, March. Taking a breath. Okay, March. What happens in March? Okay, what do we see here? Oh my gosh, another planet's come up in Aries to join Venus. Mercury comes up and stops to go retrograde in Aries as well. We have a Mercury-Venus conjunction. That means they're together. They're conjoined like twins. Like me and Larry, we're twins. Okay, so anyway, we're conjoined at the hip forever. Okay, so anyway, this Venus-Mercury conjunction would be... Mercury is our talking center. So it's like now we're excitedly talking, but in a very social fashion. So ideation, we're going to have ideation meetings. For the production crew over here at Moira Press, I'm going to actually schedule some ideation meetings for this Venus, Mercury, because I can see this coming. We plan for the mood. We're going to be in the mood to be shouting off brainstorming, like, let's go, fire of the mouth. Like, blah, 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 blah. When you're brainstorming, you don't really edit, but you just go and go and go and go. And so I want you to use this energy. Now, look at what you have around 10 Aries. It's a really special time for you in March. Now, you could have 10 of another sign for the advanced astrologers. Look at all the aspects that makes it to your chart. Or if you have an astrologer, have them look at this. But this is going to be a really good energy to use. So let's plan for March as this kind of fire of talking over creative things. If you do go hiking with somebody, plan to have a really great conversation because Mercury's involved. The throat chakra is involved. Okay. As we can see, the Uranus in Taurus persists in its sextile to Saturn in Pisces. So here we are, we're in March, February and March, we got this Uranus, we got this Taurus-Pisces combo, Taurus-Pisces. So we get steadiness with Taurus, but it's kind of excitement and steadiness because it's Uranus. Like, are you a regular at a coffee shop? Are you a regular at a bar? Are you a regular somewhere? Are you a regular, around here? Whatever it is, wherever you're a regular, get excited about that in March. Get your mug, get your pen, get your lipstick, get your wardrobe. Like everything that a normal person might do really excitedly, let's do that. At your house, like I said, it's spices, flavors, tones, smells, ear, nose, and throat. Think ear, nose, and throat. For you Taurus people who love makeup is under Taurus. It comes all over. So maybe you want to do some really amazing makeup to enhance the vibe of whatever you're producing, where you are. And I think, Taurus, whereas Pisces could be all of the wardrobe, all of the colors, all of the things, the Uranus in Taurus really brings in the face and the ears. Like earrings can be very Taurus, ears, nose, throat. You could get your nose pierced. I don't know, anything to dress up the ear, nose, and throat and face. You could get a glasses costume like I have to keep myself safe. When people think you're a nerd, they don't really come after you on the street. Okay. If you know what I mean. Okay, so, all right, let's see. Mars in Cancer. We still got that Mars in Cancer. Now, it's backed up. It's still trine that Saturn. And it also comes up to a sextile to that Uranus. Remember, that's a 60-degree angle. So this kind of crafting vibe we have comes into the makeup, ear, nose, and throat vibe. So maybe whatever you've been crafting, now you take it to the makeup. What I'm seeing in March is like crazy makeup. The drag queens are going crazy, but like so are the kids. So is everyone. Like, get your makeup game on in March, okay? It's like it kind of looks like in February we're sewing outfits. Well, January we get that Mars and Leo, so we're really looking at like what is my wardrobe. In February we're like sewing wardrobe, and in March we are looking at makeup. It could also be, if you're more of a home person, it could be framing issues. Like Uranus in Taurus is the color of like framing wood. So it could be that you're crafting around the house, but it's like framing wood color. I don't know. So March has these special things going on. I'm going to actually take this little minute here that we have and take a drink of my coffee. Part of my wardrobe is black and white. Billy said everything's not black and white in the world, and I said, well, do you want me to wear a gray shirt? Anyway, okay. If you have any questions, you can put them down below. I could maybe answer them. Okay, April of 2025. Let's take a look at that chart. What do you notice? What's different? What's similar? What we have some big things going on in this month. Okay, first of all, the first thing, this is epic. Neptune goes into Aries. Okay, Neptune goes out of Pisces into Aries. Now that happens, I mean, Neptune's been in Pisces forever. You know, Neptune is kind of where we're dreaming, where we're visioning what the dream of this, what the dream state of life is. You know, Neptune in Pisces was like we dreamt about chilling out and being all, everything's magical. And, you know, it's like pot became ubiquitous. It's like everyone's smoking weed and being soft and magical. That's so Neptune in Pisces. Well, Neptune in Aries marks a new generation. Now, as we'll see later in the year, Neptune does go back into Pisces, but as it goes into Aries, we want to ask ourselves, what is this going to bring? You know, you probably say, Andy, predict what it's going to bring. But, you know, all I can do is predict how it's going to change the energetics of humans and then kind of watch it work. I do have some ideas about what could happen here. Neptune in Aries will bring kind of the pineal gland, this dreaming vision gland, tied into the eyes. The Aries is the eyes. It's what we see. It's the muscle behind the eyes. Okay, it's the top of the head. It's when we put our face into something and be like, oh, looking at it, that's so Aries. You know, Aries gets mad. It's in your face. Okay, well, Neptune being all up in your face, to me, is the creation of a Hollywood version of the self. Okay, what we saw in Neptune and Pisces is like social media came out and everyone became this ubiquitous like school of fish. Like now we're all melding, we're in social media, and like Neptune, Pisces is like fish, right? It's like you feel the auras of everyone, so you swim as a school, right? Well, people are starting to get savvy with social media and they're starting to pop, right? They're realizing, oh, this is actually TV and I should style myself and I should make a more Hollywood version of myself. Right? And we're seeing the stars pop out on social media because they have a star persona on social media. As they step out into society, into the school of fish, they pop, right? Well, I think Neptune in Aries is a good time for all of us to start styling ourselves in a Hollywood fashion. If you are going to be yourself, be styled. Have a wardrobe, have a sound, have a tone, have a song, have a, a role, have a dream. What is your role? Who are you? What is the highest version of yourself? What are you manifesting? Why did God make you? Those are all questions for Neptune and Aries. Now, this is just beginning. I don't have my ephemeris up here to look at how long it's going to be there, but I think it's upwards of 15, 20 years. But so look at the house in your chart. Where is Aries in your chart? What house is it on? If Aries is on your first house, then this is going to be a huge time for you to be more of you, because that's your first house. If it's in your second house, it's going to be financial. There might be some, dreams around who you are financially. If it's going through your 11th house, you might say, who am I within my community? What community am I building? Where am I a leader in my community? So when a planet goes into a new sign, we really want to look at the house we're dealing with, because that is a planet going into a new house for us. Now, if you're kind of a newbie or you're not an astrologer yourself, consult your astrologer and ask them the question, Neptune is going into Aries in what house in my chart, and what does that mean for me? Okay. Another thing to notice is Mars moves forward into Leo again. Now, this is in April. Okay, back to wardrobe considerations. It opposes that Pluto in Aquarius, where we're all just meld into the ideas of the group, right? We're just here to be a group. No one's supposed to stand out in the group. That's Aquarius for you, right? We're all in class. No one stands out. No one shows off in class. Well, we all need to show off in class, because Mars in Leo is saying, who are you in class? What is your fire that you burn? What does your wardrobe look like? Let's get styled. So in Mars in Aries and Leo in April, here we go. We're styling ourselves again. It's an intense transit. Mars Pluto is an intense tearing down and rebuilding. So if you get rid of everything in your closet and you get a new closet going, that would be a Mars Pluto situation. It's just like, I'm sick of these clothes. I'm the new me. We're going to reinvent ourselves with that Mars Pluto. Don't let that transit pass you by without harnessing it. Mars in Leo right now, and I got 4 wigs and I wore them. I started wearing wigs. It's like, up your game in wardrobe. Just do it. Cosplay. Go costume on yourself. Okay. The other thing I want to notice is that Venus and Mercury back up. You know, they went retrograde in Aries. Well, they back up and they make a conjunction to Saturn in Pisces. This is huge. Mercury, Venus, Saturn conjunction in Pisces. Let's use that energy to talk about styling. Let's have more ideation meetings. But here we're talking about style, tone. How do we keep the vibe good for everyone in our group? How do we keep everyone happy? You remember Pisces is the global emotional state of your group. So let's use this. Whereas when the conjunction was happening in Aries, we might be ideas like how do we move forward? Like what are we doing? What are they? And then here we go back and say how can we keep everyone happy as we go forward? Okay, so this is an emotional ideation meeting. Okay, that's April. Maybe I'll drink my coffee between every month. Palate cleanser. You know, when doing aromatherapy, you smell coffee between every aroma. All right, May 2025. Let's take a good look here. Interesting. Got a lot of reds and oranges in May. Okay, so Mars is going to go forward in Leo. It's done with Cancer. So we're done with all the crafting. Not that you have to be done with crafting. The moon will still go through there and all that stuff. But I'm just saying the Mars hand of the clock, which brings a lot of mania, is going to stay in Leo for all of May. Okay, I know a lot of us are going to NORWAC. It's going to be a fun NORWAC. NORWAC is a Northwest Astrological Conference. We're gonna have a lot of fun at this NORWAC because we're going to be raging in the solar plexus and our hearts are going to be beating really strong. Remember, Leo is that muscle of the beating heart. It's that orange solar plexus. It's orange in the system. So we're going to be having strong hearts. The Pluto and Leo generation is going to be popping. They're just going to be like, oh, I'm, teaching us all this kind of stuff. And so we're definitely going to have fun in May. Now it's going to make a triangle to Venus in Aries. Venus will have moved forward into Aries and they make a triangle to each other for most of the month. What does it mean to have a fire triangle? Well, in humor theory, which is blood, the blood is actually boiling more than it normally would. It's going to be upward lifted. We're all going to be a little bit in your face, a little bit fiery, a little bit go, go, go. Like all those ideas that we had at the ideation meetings when Mercury and Venus were in Aries, we're going to be implementing those. We're going to be acting out at NORWAC what we planned, or whatever it is. If you are a hiker or a physical person, because you have fire planets in your natal chart, you're going to be being physical. You're going to be hiking. Sexuality comes under fire signs. Like it might be a kind of vervy sexual month. Let's not be G-rated around here. Astrology is an adult study, if you ask me, since it covers every aspect of life. Okay, so let's use the fire of May to get fired up. Okay, it's like dun 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 dun. Like May is gonna be popping. Okay. Now, look at this configuration, you guys. This is what we've been waiting for. This is Saturn and Neptune conjoined together at the beginning of Aries. Now, some people would be afraid of this and they would say, that looks depressing. When we get Saturn and Neptune together, our dreams get crushed, our visions get tested. Saturn is reality, Neptune is visioning. Well, I would say, since we're mind controllers and we're not going to let the transits have their way with us, we're going to say, we are going to use this Saturn-Neptune conjunction to carve out a manifestation. Whatever we're working on to manifest, we're going to vision it and write it down and make it happen one day at a time. I want 30 days in your manifestation journal all through May. Every day I'm manifesting this, I'm manifesting this, I'm manifesting this. Like let's say it's a bead business. It's like my bead business is popping, my bead business is popping. I'm doing something every day for my bead business. Like I want you to do the things to manifest your vision, whatever that is. If you're writing an album, it's like every day I'm writing on my album. Now you have to look at what this is hitting in your natal chart. What you are going to be manifesting will have to do with what this transit is hitting in your natal chart. Get your astrologer on board, ask them, what is this hitting in my natal chart? Okay. Now remember, it's in that manifestation of who we are in a kind of Hollywood perspective. That's the Neptune in Aries. Saturn in Aries is going to question it. It's like, you're a nobody, actually. You might come up against that idea that nothing you do actually matters or whatever. Well, we're going to hit that back with every single thing you do matters and sends out waves. Every single thing you do matters. So carve it out. Carve out your behaviors. Carve out your role in this lifetime. We're going to not let this get us depressed. We're going to go to the hard work aspect of Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Okay. Other things to notice is Jupiter is still in Gemini. We're still at the end of Gemini. We're still processing mentally. We're talking about manifestation. We're talking about race and astrology. We're talking about whatever your chart wants to talk about. Keep talking through May. So January through May, it's like talk it out, talk it out, talk it out. Okay, because we're still in that talking period. Now Jupiter will move along and we'll have to see what that brings. Okay, this is May for you. Any questions? Drop them in the comments below. Time for the palette cleanser. Is this enough black and white for you? Do you know I've gotten critiqued for having too many patterns in the frame? I'm a circus maximalist. All right. June. Let's take a look. How does it feel? How does it feel? Okay. Well, we're noticing some changes. Mars over here in Leo, it ends its race in Leo and it goes into Virgo. Okay, so finally we're going to have this, we're done with our kind of like wardrobe self, who we are, how are we awesome, like burn for myself. And we're going to go into burning for the technical details. Here, let's say you've been writing an album. Now it's time to go into the waveforms in June. Like we are tiny waveforms. I bet the producer, well, the waveform studio engineer part of the producer is just going to be popping. That Mars is going to be on his Jupiter and Virgo, so he's just going to be like waveforms for bands all over the world. I'll have to schedule some time. I'll schedule them for June now because I might need a waveform construction. We'll have to see. Okay. I digress, though. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is take it from Mars and Leo into Mars and Virgo. Get your detail work going on. If you were writing a book, start editing that book. If you are a carpenter, you might, start doing the detail work. Whatever detail work that you want to do this year, let's start it in June. That's when Mars goes into Virgo. Okay. Now, another thing is this Jupiter, it gets to the end of Gemini and it goes into Cancer. This is huge. Jupiter is leaving Gemini and going into Cancer. From a body systems perspective, Jupiter, they call it a second sun because it's a big orange ball. So it like spins the chakra that's in. So Jupiter and Gemini has been spinning the throat chakra. We're talking. Now it moves down and starts spinning the waters of the chest. Like what? Now I'm spinning in the water. A lot of boxers are Cancers and they have this rolling front muscle. It's like a rolling form. That's Cancer energy. It's also the hugging. Like Cancers are like, you're mine. They're very possessive and they hold on to things. They also pinch and craft. They pinch and sew. They crochet. See this rolling form? So Cancer is one of the most crafty signs because of that rolling water of the chest. Now, it also does food and beverage. Takes a drink, likes its beverages, things like that. Food, eat the food. So Jupiter, though, first has to make a square to that Saturn-Neptune. Okay, Jupiter squares Saturn-Neptune happens in June. Okay, this is huge. Okay, Jupiter-Neptune is like our pineal gland starts visioning like crazy. Like we're like, I'm getting visions. I'm having dreams, whatever it is. And, it's the Saturn, though, Jupiter square Saturn is like, I feel like I should go forward, but I don't know where to go back. Where do I go forward? Where do I go back? Where do I have boundaries? Where do I grow? So it's going to be this weird, like, I'm having a vision, but I don't know where to go forward. I don't know where to go back. Now, here at the Moira Press, we are not going to let that stop us. We are going to use that month of June 2025 as a refinement of vision month, right? We're going to say, like, all right, as a team, we're going to say, where do we go forward? Where do we go back? What is growing here? What do we need to let go of? Who's going to stay? Who's going? Like, right? It's like, let yourself trim and prune as Jupiter squares that Saturn. And though the Jupiter square Neptune is going to be bringing mad vision. So it's like I see visioning and trimming. Also taking photographs. When you have Saturn, Neptune, capturing the vision, in manifestation, when we capture vision, we make a video, we make a still frame, we capture what we're seeing in our mind and we show it to the world. We're saying, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. This is what's going on. So maybe you take June and you say, I'm going to show the public daily for 30 days what my vision is. every day. Where do I go forward? Where do I go back? I did this. I shared it with the public. They didn't really like it there. I shared this. They didn't really like that there. Right? So it's like a dance with creation of like vision manifestation. So really, I want you to use this Jupiter square Saturn Neptune. This is a big deal. Okay. So I think those are the biggest two things that happen in June. Let's look at that Mars going in Virgo and that Jupiter square Saturn Neptune. All right. July. If you're getting tired listening to this, you just see how tired I got drawing all these charts. You can always pause the video and take a rest. Okay. Now, July of 2025. Let's take a look. Something crazy happens here. Uranus goes into Gemini. Okay, Jupiter just left Gemini, so we lost our throat chakra spinning. And now we're going to get an electricalism coming into that throat chakra. This Uranus in Gemini is going to last for 7 years. Now, if you were excited about Taurus things with Uranus and Taurus, which is like being a steady, stable person, going to your regular place, you know, having your beverage, whatever. Well, Uranus and Gemini, we're going to start getting popping on talking. Okay, I know we talked about talking with Jupiter and Gemini, but this is like electricalism through the throat chakra. Like, oh my God, I said this thing I never thought I thought of. We're going to get ideas that we've never heard of. We're going to get new things coming through. We're going to get novels, books. All the people with Gemini are going to start to pop in this kind of thing. We're going to see articles coming back into vogue. We're going to see lecture trips. We might see the musicians start doing Zoom classes on production. I mean, we might see, the bakers coming out to do Zoom classes on baking. We might see the, Carolina Vilas, who does, marketing. She might come out and start giving us a lesson on marketing. All I know is that when Uranus goes into Gemini, we are going to be wowed by ideas. Again, in this way, now the Uranus and Gemini generation, they're probably about 84 right now. And they love to read novels. They love to chit chat. They love to talk. They love the art of chit chat, right? And they do a lot of their excitement through that arena. So, if you're going to be like, how people get addicted to things, they get addicted to cigarettes, they get addicted to sex and all this stuff, like porn addiction. I'm like, get addicted to talking, because with Uranus in Gemini, it's like, I'm like my friends and my boyfriends and all this stuff. It's like, I'm just going to be like, can we have a talk, because we're going to have some new stim come in through this talk, right? Like, it's just, you really have to get with the time, this is the quality of time. And we're going to say, the quality of time right now is that when we talk to each other, we have epiphanies. Like, it's like, in history, we would say this is like a revolution. It's like a neo-revolution through ideas kind of thing. So now what are we talking about? If we look over, that Saturn-Neptune conjunction is still in Aries, right? We're going to be talking about, who am I? What is my highest purpose? Why am I here? What did the gods create me for? How could I show this on my Facebook page? How could I show this on Instagram? How could I show this in email? How could I show this on all platforms? How can I be more of myself in texting? How can I be more of myself on the phone? It's like, how can I be the best self that I ever was? Does that seem self-focused? Maybe. All the people sensitive to narcissism are appalled by the Aries planets. People, in fact, call Aries narcissists sometimes. Well, I'm telling you, being self-focused is fine for certain transits. It's fine for certain aspects. Remember, Pluto in Aquarius is still hanging out, and it's saying you can still assimilate with groups. You can take yourself out into the group and assimilate. There's times for narcissism, and there's times to be group assimilationist. And when you're on your Facebook page, I am sorry, but be the best you could ever be, because it's your channel. Okay? But when you go out into the group, you're not like, so anyway, about me. Like, that's not what Aquarius energy is for. So take yourself out to the group, in your wardrobe, in your style. Everyone can go look at your Facebook page if they want to see who you are. And then it's a sextile. It's a nice energy between self and group. Ideas and group. This Uranus trine Pluto is going to just bring just so much electricalism to these groups. I mean, if you thought Pluto and Aquarius was fun before, it is just getting bananas. It's just gonna, with this Uranus trine Pluto, we are gonna have the most fun on Zoom. We're gonna have the most fun everywhere. Now, what's up with Mars in July? Still in Virgo, so great time for detail work. We're still doing that detail work in Virgo. Now, notice this. Mercury goes retrograde in July in Leo. I'm going backwards here. Okay. So notice that it stops at 15 Leo. And so if you have something around there, that Mercury in retrograde will give you an opportunity to talk a lot or think a lot about some aspect of your chart. Okay. Do I worry about Mercury retrograde? No, I don't. I don't mind miscommunications. What I like to focus on is passionate Mars syndrome, which is when Mars brings mania. And what the passionate Mars syndrome we're going to be in is detail work. Get your editing done. Get your waveforms done in July, people. All right. August, what do you notice? What do you see? Okay. A few things to notice. We still have that Uranus and Gemini trine that Pluto and Aquarius. So August, we're having epiphanies in groups. Those group Zoom calls are just popping. People are really getting it. They're really starting to be themselves on camera. We got that Aries element. Everyone's turned themselves into a movie star. They're going back on camera. They realize Zoom is being on TV. On camera, when we're being recorded, we want to be our best self, okay? So we manifested our best selves. We're going out into the groups on camera, and we start to have epiphanies like beyond compare, okay? Now, what is this over here? Mars in Libra. Mars leaves Virgo, and we turn our passions to one-on-one relationships with Mars going into Libra. Okay, so for all those people who have Libra planets, you're going to, in August, start to build and grow new one-on-one relationships. Maybe you got all your editing done or all your waveforms done, and now you can go out and network about the album you made or the book you made or whatever you want to do. The first thing Mars does is oppose that Saturn-Neptune. Now, it also makes a triangle to the Pluto and Aquarius, and it also makes a triangle to that Uranus and Gemini. It's going to be a very nice configuration. Now, what does an opposition between Mars and Libra mean to this Aries element? Well, remember, the Aries element is a little narcissistic. Who am I? What is my most self, and Hollywood self? And then the Mars and Libra says, focus on the other. Don't be so self-absorbed. Libra is other focused. It's air to the other. In fact, in the anatomy of the aura, which we see in this book, Esoteric Anatomy, which I love, it shows the body as consciousness. It shows that, in Libra, the air aura is like, Libra's the kidneys. It has that adrenal gland over it, and it's like fight or flight, and it sends out air to the other people. So it's like, if you put someone in front of you and there's Libra planets, you start doing this dance to the other. Well, how can it be that you're dancing to the other, but you're also self-focused, dancing to the other? I think this is where we take our styled self out and we try it in partnership with people, right? Like, my styled self and your styled self are now going to interact, and we're going to see what a styled duo looks like, right? We have to be our best self and do our best interaction with somebody. Okay, now Mars in Libra can bring fights. People say Mars in Libra is weak because it's not strong there. I find that it's very strong because it hits that adrenal gland, which is fight or flight, and so people go into that fight mode. So I'm telling you, it's fine to have fights, as Mars goes into Libra. They're going to be fights that define the self, though. It's like in that one-on-one interaction, you're going to become more of you, kind of going on. And remember, we can take that Mars and Libra into the groups where we go on the Aquarius energy. So it might be time to fight to build some one-on-one relationships within those groups that you're in. Okay, a few other things we want to notice about this month of August is that Mercury in retro backs up in Leo, opposes that Pluto. Okay, that's going to bring some intense conversations. Mercury, Pluto is intense discussions about things. And Now, is this bad? I mean, it's also going to be sextile that Uranus and Gemini. I think it's going to bring some great intensity to your group. So watch when that Mercury opposes that Pluto for an intensity week where people get really into the conversation. We like these peak moments, right? When the outer planets hang out, we like the peaks to go and, have their way. Now, the last thing we want to notice in this month is that Venus comes up to conjoin Jupiter in Cancer. What a nice aspect. Jupiter in Cancer is very loving. It's very foodie, cooks, does all kinds of things. Venus in Cancer also cooks and crafts. So it's like, get your craft on in August. Build that family tree. Go to Michael's 10 times. Like, get your craft on. We are 4 months out of Christmas here, so you could start making an advent calendar for somebody. You could start making gifts for Christmas. It's never too early to start your manias, to build things for Christmas presents. So I do think that Venus Jupiter is really something to notice in August. All right. Do you have any questions? You can post them in the comments below. All right, September. Here we go. What do you notice? Okay. Now, here we have something happen, which is that Saturn retrogrades out of Aries back into Pisces. Okay. Now, here we want to say, I tried myself out making like this constant manifestation of my vision of self. I did self, me. What I think, what I'm here to do, which is what you were supposed to do. Okay. Were you a narcissist? I hope so. Okay. Because temporary narcissism is what we need under certain transits. Now, when Saturn goes back into Pisces, though, we're back to the global element of cleansing the feelings of everyone around us. We have to check in and say, how did that make people feel? How did my character make people feel? What vibe did that create? How did that affect the collective psyche? Okay. We might need to do some cleanup work. We might need to make some amends, say some sorries, offer some forgiveness. We might need to forgive others for what they did during that energy, right? We said, oh, I see in your dream vision of yourself, you're a professional wrestler, but you jumped on top of me. And I didn't like that because my child is not a professional wrestler. It wasn't a fair fight. Okay, whatever it was that you did when that transit was there, you now have an opportunity to clean that up. Find the magic and miracles again. We're back to that divinity aspect. We're back to asking universe, what is your will for me? Universe, God, why did you make me like this? We want to go into our journals and we want to do the divinity work. We want to do the cleanup work. Maybe it's more practical for you. You say, I got my outfit on, I got my online persona on, so now I'm going to do smells, tastes, tones, incense, vibes. Maybe I'm going to ride around with incense in my car all the time. That's what I do instead of smoke cigarettes. But it's just, it's like vibe and tone come back into fruition. And also remember cleansing the feelings. I really encourage you to use things like universe, please grant us serenity. God grant us serenity. We want to bring peace back to everyone after what's just happened. Now, this Mars in Libra still's cooking along. Remember, our passionate Mars syndrome is about relationships now. And it squares Jupiter in Cancer. Well, okay, we're in September. This is where I would say wine 'em and dine 'em. If you're trying to make any business relationships or grow any connections, go out to eat with them. Jupiter and Cancer is food. Like go to the fancy restaurants. Maybe go on a restaurant tour this month. Maybe you're trying to grow a partnership with your partner, your lover, or whatever. Go to 4 fancy restaurants in this month. Is it too much to do? No, that's what it's time for. It's time to connect and have some food. It could be that you connect in a craft project. A lot of times when we see Libra Cancer, we get a commissioned craft project, a commissioned art project. Why a commission? One-on-one relationship, that's Libra, and then the Jupiter's the crafting. So you want to craft something for the other person, right? So it's like, remember, we're bridging making and loving through objects and craftiness with building and if there's someone you're trying to get a contract with, I would make them something and send it to them. Something, you want to marry creativity and the finer things in life as far as food, gifts, crafts with this building of relationships. if you get in a fight with someone with that Mars and Libra, you can clean it up over a meal. You can buy them dinner, things like that. Okay. The other thing I notice here is that Venus in Leo moves forward, and it's off that Cancer. And now it's in Leo. So Venus in Leo is very fun. Again, we get wardrobe considerations. What do I look like? Do I need some new clothes? Maybe you can dress up for several occasions. Now, because that Venus in Leo, this is harder than it looks, is sextile that Mars in Libra, we're going to say, how can I dress for this specific person? That would be Mars in Libra, is one-on-one interaction. I'm building this and I want a specific outfit for this person. So I would say, whereas before we were doing outfit considerations for the group and for who we are as a human, here we would tailor it to the person or the context, So you'd say, like, my partner loves when I wear high heels. Maybe that's not really your character, but you'd say, all right, I'm going to wear high heels in September to give them a thrill, right? Or let's say you'd say, my bandmate loves when I dress in metal gear. Okay, I'm going to wear some metal gear this month, things like that. Okay, that was September. All right. 3 more months. Let's go. October. Now, this is going to be an interesting October, and it's right on time for Halloween month. Okay. The first thing I notice here is that Jupiter in Cancer is going to move so that it is in a triangle to Saturn in Pisces. Jupiter trines Saturn in October. Now, Jupiter grows things, and Saturn is very hardworking and litigious and structured. So in October, we might want to plan to grow something, whatever that is. It could be, we're back to Jupiter and Cancer things, crafts, food, dinners, restaurant visits. So maybe we plan to grow the vibe of our community through dinners. Maybe we plan to take the whole crew out to dinner in October. Maybe you, get your whole family together for dinner. It could be a photograph too, like water signs are kind of pictorial and kind of imagery based. What else could Jupiter and Cancer be? It could be that you grow your house in protection. Maybe you get bodyguards and you allow the vibe to be good because everyone has a personal bodyguard or something like that. But what we know is we're growing in protection and safety and vibe and cleanliness. Everyone's happy, but it's a very sustained growth period. Now, what's cool about this October is, look at this. Scorpio has been so desolate. Like, the Scorpios are just lying dormant. I mean, there's nothing going on in Scorpio it's been years. But now we get this, it's Mercury and Mars in Scorpio make a triangle to this. Okay, so Mercury and Mars in Scorpio could bring horror, zombies, metal, darkness, epicness, deepness, so like with my metal band, I definitely am going to schedule a show for October of 2025. Not like I'm going to wait that long. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a Scorpio all the time. I live that out. But this is going to be the time where the crowd is going to be ready for that epic darkness. Everyone's going to get their zombie outfits on. Maybe we'll make a video with a bunch of goth outfits, like a goth video or something like that. But, I encourage you to do your own goth video, whatever that looks like. Scorpio is good for all things like metal, monster trucks, professional wrestling, goth, haunted houses, darkness, so there's also the R-rated Scorpio things, sex clubs, strip clubs, all those things are very Scorpionic. Scorpios live in the nether regions. You do the math. But so we actually get a grand trine in water in October. So this is all water areas systems of the body. We got the water around the lungs and chest, which is like, I'm going to hug you and love you and protect you and make something for you. Then we got the water of the nether regions, which is just like, I'm going to brr with you. You know what I mean? Let's not say what that is, but where I'm going to you. That's Scorpio for you. And then Pisces is going to say, and we're going to cleanse the aura, and we're going to cleanse the whole you. So it's like, I see a big metal concert. I see a big show in October. We got a grand trine in water. We have to capitalize on this. But, this is one of those in October where artists want to work for the good of all concerned, cleansing and clearing all the things that have been happening. Whatever we want cleansing, like, the Palestine conflict, any conflict or anything that goes on, water triangles are healing, cleansing moments in history, and we want to take note of that and use that. So let's look at October and say this is a really epic month. Now, Mars is in Scorpio, which is a really strong Mars. I mean, it's in its own sign there. It's a red planet in a red sign, reddish black. And so we're going to have the endometrial fluid of society will be just banging. There'll be so much, like, everyone's period will be insane. PMS all over. You know what I mean? We're going to be full iron. Okay, so then the other thing I want to say about this month is that Venus is in Virgo. We get more detail work. It opposes that Saturn in Pisces, meaning we might do some detail work to get the vibe really good. Just, like cleaning up people's wardrobes, little things. Just, it's just all the little things with Venus and Virgo. So this is what we got in October. That's going to be a very exciting month. Here, I know what we can do. You guys are probably getting talked out. I'll burn some sage. Look at me. I'm Saturn and Pisces. I'm going to clear the vibes here. And that smells good. All right. November. What? Look at this chart. That looks so different. Something's going on in November. Okay, we've had our show. We've cleansed the spirit. And now, let's just notice that Jupiter in Cancer is still trine Saturn in Pisces. So we're still building up the protection and vibe of our crew. I mean, I think we're gonna have to assign people bodyguards with this triangle. Everyone get a bodyguard because Jupiter in Cancer is very protective, and Saturn in Pisces wants the vibe to be good. And it's like if everyone has a buddy system, like if everyone has a buddy, then everyone can be protected and safe, and the vibe can be good. I'm just speaking to the triangle that's happening. I didn't make up the idea of protection. It just is one of the things that we do now. But I also think we should be going out for dinner with our crews, like in that Jupiter in Cancer wants to have dinner, wants to break bread. So it's like, like live wherever Jupiter is, we like live and be merry in that area of life. Well, this is Cancer things, so it's like food, drink, and crafts. Take your crew to Michael's Crafts, and everyone can make a craft for someone they love in the crew or something like that. I think this is going to be a really interesting triangle. I, in some ways, am going to wait to see what people do with this triangle to see, I'm just predicting what it could be, but, I have to wait for humanity to really, deal with it and show us what it's doing, because we know that people will be kind of spinning in the waters of the chest. This is Jupiter and Cancer, and they're going to be kind of tight in the aura that's Saturn and Pisces. So they're wanting to break bread, but they're kind of like, I just want everything to be okay though, so that's why the bodyguards, it's like, just sit down and listen your aura up, we gotcha. All right, now another thing to notice is that Uranus is back up out of Gemini into Taurus. It's sextile that Neptune, which has backed up into Pisces now. We're back into creating the dream vibe with outfits, wardrobe, and makeup. Okay, so we're doing some more considerations of how does my face look, what's my mug, what's my pen I have, what's my background, all that kind of stuff. We've, all year, as you're seeing, we're kind of like molding and shaping ourselves, and then we're coming back on camera and doing these wardrobe and makeup considerations. That's all year round. Now, let's notice this. Mercury goes retrograde in this month again. It's one of the reasons people are really into Mercury retrogrades is because they happen often. So it's something that astrologers can talk about often. We're talking about the whole clock here, but I encourage you, if you're into astrology, to just Google Mercury retrogrades for 2025. You can get a list of them. If that's something that you are interested in. I'm more look at the clock each month and plan my whole life around it, not just the one thing. But this is Mercury going retrograde in Sag. Well, it goes retrograde at 6 Sag, so you want to notice if that hits anything in your natal chart, because that will be a communication moment for you. Mercury in Sag is it's a fire Mercury, so there's a lot of talking. It's like beep, 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 a lot of joking, a lot of funny. November will be really fun. A lot of gratitude comes out, and this is Thanksgiving month, so it's like we can have a lot of gratitude lists or gratitude moments with Mercury and Sagittarius, and we can be thankful for what we have and what we're going to have and all this kind of stuff. That's very good with Mercury in Sagittarius. Now, something to notice here is it's not just a Mercury in Sagittarius alone. Mars comes up into Sagittarius to conjoin Mercury. This makes a lot of talking. When Mars and Mercury are together, the throat chakras of mankind are like really busy and there's just a lot of talking. Like, I want your gratitude list to be like hundreds of things long. Like, just make the longest gratitude list you ever made in your life in November of this year, because it is just going to be the most grateful, most powerful, most adventurous. Make a list of adventures you want to go on. That's Mars and Sagittarius. Mars and Sagittarius is just, can we see something new? Can we do something new? Let's go, 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 go. Let's go on a trip. Let's travel. If you have a troupe or a band or anything, start planning a tour. In November, it's time to travel. I know for us, the producer, this will be on his sun in Sagittarius, and he loves to travel. So our producer will probably be going on trips, and he'll be, going around and traveling away from us. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, I'm sad in November. I'll text him. Whatever. I'm happy again. Okay. But you see what I'm saying? All the Sages are going to start popping. So if you have, we should be watching Terica Klanknecht in November. This Mars Mercury is going to be on her Sun Saturn. Maybe she'll be playing some epic drums. Oh yeah. Time Rift. Stainless. Let's go. All right. Whew. Remember when we seamlessly looked through a whole year in one day? Okay. Arrival. We're arriving at December, the last month of the year. What do we notice? Okay. Well, first thing to notice is that Jupiter in Cancer is still trine Saturn. We still are working on protection. We're still working on food and drink. We're still working on the vibe of the group. We're still cleaning things up. We're still making sure everyone feels safe. We're still making sure that the tones, smells, vibes, prayers are correct. We're still working on magic and miracles. We're praying. We're saying, God grant us serenity as we go forward. God grant us protection. Oh, I'll say that this prayer. You could say, God, I offer myself to the world. God, what have you created here? Universe, what is your will for me? All of that stuff we're still doing in December of this year. Okay. We're still on wardrobes. Uranus is backed up in Taurus. We're still doing wardrobes with backgrounds. And then the last thing I'll say is that Mercury, Venus, and Mars are in Sagittarius in December of 2025, which means even more talk of travel. Even more travel. For all the Sagittarians, get excited for November and December, because it will be time for you to go on that trip that you've been waiting to go on. If you're going to plan a trip for this year, I would plan it for November, December. Look to see where these Sagittarius planets are hitting your chart specifically. See how long you're going to feel like traveling, what's going to go on, but it's definitely going to be the mood after we cleanse with that grand trine in October. Now it's time to move forward to the next thing. Now we're taking the show on the road, whatever that means, wherever that is for you. If you're into astrology, you might look into your astrocartography. Where should I travel? Where should I live? Where should I go? All right. So that's what I see in December. Now, I will say that these Sagittarius planets in this month do make a square to Saturn. Squares are hard. People are scared of squares. Scary squares. Okay, what I will say is that Sagittarius wants to be free and it wants to go off and travel, and Saturn and Pisces is like, but is the vibe going to be right? Are you going to be safe? Is everyone going to be good? Is everyone going to feel good? Is someone going to miss you? Do you need it? So it's like the struggle with this square is I want to be free, but I want everyone to feel okay about it, So I think as these planets square Saturn, you just have to say, I have to make sure that when I'm traveling, my troop is good, my people are good, my family's good, everyone's got their feelings taken care of. We can pray in group text messages. We can say, universe, what's your will for this trip? We can marry the values of Pisces with the values of Sag, which is, as we are free, we are also attending to our emotional needs. We don't just willy-nilly go off into the wilderness. Okay. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for spending this hour with me and us here at the Moira Press. Remember, if you want to go deeper dive into any of these months, come to the micro transits events, which will be on my events calendar. You go to andreagehrz.com events and you'll see those micro transit events. Join us. We will be talking about your specific chart if you're there. We will talk about the micro transits and how they hit your chart. Depends on how focused we get, depends on how many people are in the room. If it's a small group, we can get very focused. If it's a big group, we're a little bit less focused. All right, well, Happy New Year. Happy 2025. I'm very excited for the year. It looks great. It looks grand. There's a lot to be manifested, and I am excited to hang out with you all as we go along. Thank you.